of our adversaries are feeling about the president's announcement yesterday. Chinese Foreign Ministry put out this statement this morning saying this undermines global strategic balance and stability. China expresses serious concern over this. We urge the United States to abandon the development and deployment of a global missile defense system as soon as possible. This is a defensive technology, so.
And now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed. This afternoon, I'm also announcing that I will appoint, very importantly, General Gutlein to lead the ambitious new effort as the direct reporting program manager for the Golden Dome. Very talented man, and I'm very honored to have been the one that helped or really created Space Force. Space Force has turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. It's not even close. And Mike is a four-star Space Force general, the recipient of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, one of the most.
Hello there, villagers, and welcome back to another video here in Stacy's Random POV. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and happy Memorial Day. As you guys can see, things have become very cartoonish, in my opinion, in the White House, especially with this dome idea that the president have came up with. And like he mentioned, this is thanks to his big, beautiful bill, like he likes to call it. And you guys just heard the numbers that it's going to cost America to build this dome to protect the entire 50 states, because he can't protect Alaska, and he's definitely not looking into protecting Puerto Rico. I guess this is why it is imperative and very important for him to cut Medicaid and food stamps from people that needs it and sickly children, because he needs about a total of almost $500 billion for the completion of said dome that will protect America from any type of threat, either from outside of this planet or from within other different countries. And I find it very interesting that this is something that he'll like to do, since as the president he has a track of starting things and not finishing it. Let's not forget this wall that he said he was going to complete for Mexico and make Mexico pay for it. But I say this to say, you guys know how I like to do things here. I brought out other creators and other people who have an interesting take about this matter, and I'm going to bring it to you here. Don't forget to subscribe, because once you subscribe, you automatically become a member of this village. I can't wait to hear what discussion this is going to bring. I'm always in the comments. I'll see you guys on my next video. Enjoy.
So today, Donald Trump decides to reveal that him and Pete Kegsbreath are going to create a golden dome that cost the American people $25 billion.
Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world, and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful, and now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed.
And Pete, go ahead. Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Ragan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force, and here we are when the others said we didn't need it. Here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Gutlein, leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you.
And the question is, where are we getting this money from? He never gives us any answers, but then issues with his cognitive ability start to creep up, and he goes off on an unhinged rant about former presidents.
We're the only ones that have this. We call it super technology. Nobody else has it, and nobody else has really near what we have. So this is a very exciting project. This is something that will, the general said close to 100% protection, so that's something we need. I think it's and everything's going to be made in the USA, by the way, very importantly. So it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I just noticed you too, Jim, you're standing there, behind you is a very important document, Declaration of Independence. And that was in the vault for many decades right under this area. They have vaults with pictures on top. You have Abraham Lincoln. You see that was the original Abraham Lincoln, the original Washington. And does everybody know who the middle was? General Grant. And so it's very exciting. You look over here, and above Ronald Reagan, you have Thomas Jefferson. That's Monroe from the Monroe document. And you know who that is, right? Andrew Jackson. So we have a lot of very exciting pictures. And on the other side, likewise, some great presidents and great people. And many of these, because people were asking about them, many of them, almost all of them, were in the vaults or nearby, but generally in the vaults downstairs, where we have some great. So it's very exciting. The place has become a little different than you first saw it, Jim, right?
Yes, much
better.
better.
A little bit different, slightly better. But to think we had them, and some were in the vaults for over 100 years. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Again, none of the stuff he's doing with this Golden Dome makes any sense, costing the taxpayers billions and billions of dollars, and it most likely won't even be built. What is he doing with this money? The next thing is, what is he talking about with these pictures of the former presidents in the White House? All of a sudden, his mind can't stay focused. So while they're out here trying to do a number on Joe Biden, God bless his soul, they need to be looking at Donald Trump right now, because I am telling you, something's just not right up there.
Did you know that the United States is about to have a giant golden shield in the sky? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But no, this is the Golden Dome, a massive space-based missile defense system proposed by Donald Trump, with an estimated cost of over $500 billion. It's designed to counter hypersonic missiles, drones, and all threats coming from space. The technology behind it is cutting edge: space-based radar, defense lasers, and ultra-fast autonomous interceptor missiles. Inspired by Israel's Iron Dome, this version is supersized in every way, in scale, power, and ambition. What's especially notable, Trump wants the Golden Dome to be operational within 3 years, before the end of his presidential term. But the big question is, will it actually work? Could it place a heavy burden on American taxpayers? And if it inadvertently triggers a global arms race, what might happen then? One thing is certain: if successful, the US could become an impenetrable fortress from space. But if it fails, it might become the most expensive dome in history.
So the U.S. is about to create an Iron Dome defense system, kind of similar to Israel, that costs $175 billion. Yes, billion with a B. Seems kind of cheap though. And it's going to be called the Golden Dome. So if you're familiar with Israel's Iron Dome, you understand that it protects them from basically attacks, missile attacks, bombs, and all these different things. Now, the U.S. Golden Dome is also going to protect against any type of nuclear warfare. And here's where the issue comes in. China is upset that we are creating that, and they're telling us to not do it yet, which is kind of interesting because That would kind of mean like, hold on, let us do something first. We have something in the plans. Before you do that, let us do this. You know what I mean? Also, they're upset because they think that if the US is going to build this, the US can like hit anybody, but then not get retaliated against. And so China is afraid that the US is going to build this defense system, this Golden Dome, and then, you know, basically hide behind a fort and start just like, I don't know if you can say the word on here, but basically like bombing or attacking the enemies like Russia and China and Iran. I know y'all hate when I say Iran. People say it in different ways. But China does not want us to create that yet. The word yet has me kind of intrigued. However, this should be a sign to all of you that we are probably into some secret altercations. We know that we're into a lot of known altercations. We're probably into some secret altercations to the point to where they feel like they have to put a golden dome around the US to protect us from even nuclear attacks.
This is going to be a long video, so I'm going to need for you to be patient, especially if you're a nine-ether being or if you're a person who is seeking a higher truth. Now, I know that we've all heard that Trump wants to build a golden dome and it's being sold as a deflector shield. Okay, so I want to talk about dismantling the fear-based narrative, the misunderstanding, and the esoteric significance of gold, especially as it relates to nine-ether beings and crystalline ascension. Now, people are drawing comparisons to this golden dome and to the fact that the Anunnaki use gold to repair their collapsing atmosphere. This narrative is originating from a fear-based distortion of geoengineering programs, okay? In truth, straight up, the Earth atmosphere is not collapsing. It's ascending. Electromagnetically, it's recalibrating to a field of higher light frequencies. It's going from a dense 3D reality to a 5D crystalline reality. Now, the Matrix has artificial atmospheric programs, chemtrails, and HAART. Now, those programs may slightly distort frequencies, but they do not have the power to stop the awakening. And I really hate using that word awakening because we're not awakening to who we are. We are remembering who we are. Now, the next thing that people are concerned about is they think that this gold dome is going to block the sun, block the moon, and reflect everything back up into the atmosphere. Now, this is a core inversion tactic, again, sparked by fear narratives. Gold does not block solar plasma. What it does is it enhances the conductivity. Gold is a solar metal. It's not a deflector, okay? We don't understand this, but the sun, it's a sentient consciousness. It is alive. The codes can't be stopped by any physical material, not gold, not domes, not satellites. These codes that are coming through from the sun, they're going to reach us because of the neuromelanin, the black God consciousness that's up in here, because it's a transmitter as well as a receiver. Now, gold is a physical manifestation of the sun. In alchemy, it represents purified solar energy made manifest in matter. Gold is a perfect conductor of electricity, plasma, and spiritual frequencies. This is why gold was embedded in crowns, in temples, in sacred armor, because it magnifies the light body. Now, neuromelanin, right, that nine-ether beings have, is the highest solar receptor in any biological form. Remember I said it's a receiver and a transmitter. What it does is it absorbs and stores high-frequency ultraviolet and cosmic rays, which comes from the sun. It converts these rays and it deciphers the codes that are in these rays into a higher spiritual intelligence, immune strength, and memory access. So if you take a gold shield, that gold shield is going to amplify, right? It's going to be a solar resonance amplified from all these codes coming from the sun. And it's going to cause the neuromelanin to now store solar codes with a greater purity. It's going to allow a conjunction of multidimensional data, ancestry memory, healing templates, prophetic insight, and most importantly, it's going to accelerate the transition into 5D crystalline bioplasmic form. Now, if this structure was conducted, it's going to be a grid amplifier, not as a shield, as what it's being sold as, but it's going to be a frequency amplifier. It's not going to reflect away from the earth. It's going to intensify what's coming from the sun down to the earth grid. It's going to strengthen key line intersections, the grids of the earth that have been rewritten. It's going to increase the flow of zero-point plasma into the collective caloric field. It's going to sharpen, it's going to amplify the crystalline lattice structures that are within the earth and in human DNA. That'll be another video. It's going to basically function as a transducer, helping the human body better to receive and interpret and anchor light intelligence. In ancient times, gold domes were placed on top of temples and pyramids. Even today, you have a lot of Capitol buildings that have gold domes over the top. Those buildings weren't always used for the purpose they have today, but that's why that gold was on top of those buildings, because it functions as a transducer. Now, gold, it's going to speed up the separation of frequencies. It's going to give truth to the allegory of what we know in the Bible as wheat versus tare. The wheat and tare, it's a metaphor. It's an allegory for the organic divine DNA versus the synthetic spiritual imposter DNA that's being fed to individuals who are heavily indoctrinated into the 3D density matrix. Now, this gold dome that Trump is proposing, it's going to act like a giant tuning fork. It's going to resonate with crystalline DNA, and it's going to cause dissonance in inorganic frequencies. It's going to activate 9 ether beings' full body memory. It's going to expose distortion, lies, and implants in non-crystalline beings. It's going to speed up the process of frequency migration. Those who are aligned with it, they're going to thrive. Those who resist will fragment. I'm going to let you use your imagination as to what fragment means. Now, another allegory. Christ's consciousness is encoded with solar geometry, golden ratios, and phi-based spirals, right? Gold frequency that this grid is going to create is going to harmonize with these structures, and it's going to strengthen our connection to the solar logos, to the original 12-strand DNA templates, the lost tribe, the 12 strands of DNA that are going to reactivate. It's going to also harmonize our connection with the Atlantean Syrian solar lineages, which 9 ether beings specifically carry. So instead of fearing this dome, understand it's going to be a planetary golden light grid, reconnecting the original 9 ether architects back to the solar source through golden coded resonance. It's going to allow the earth to become a living temple of light once again. It's going to make visible the invisible crystalline cities that are above and below the surface. That'll be another video. It's going to restore soul plasma coherence between the sun, the earth, and all beings that are decoded with divine memory. Now, when gold is used in alignment with love, it's going to enhance your ability to remember who you are. 9 ether beings, right? We cannot be blocked from light because we are encoded with the light, the original source DNA. The false matrix is breaking, it's crumbling because the neuromelanin resonance is rising, because the earth is rising in frequency, okay? Because we're the dome, we're the temple, we're the transmitter. So here's the thing. If this gold dome is actually created, it's going to be the greatest thing to happen to 9 ether beings. And if it doesn't, we now have the information that as a collective, we can meditate and draw on the frequency of all the gold on this planet and create a consciousness to help all of us begin to resonate and rise into our 5D crystalline bodies. Okay? You've been activated.
I think it's very safe to say if America has enough resources to build a golden dome over America for protection, then we have enough resources to wipe out the working class and taxpayers' debt in America. Not asking for nothing, just put us at zero. I think it's safe to say that, but, you know.
And all I'm going to say is this golden dome that Donald Trump is attempting to build cannot stop judgment from coming on America. Jesus Christ is still Lord. He still reigns. He's still high and lifted up. And the train of his robe still fills the temple. Be encouraged.
This is the first podcast taping that we've done under the protection of our glorious Golden Dome. The new Golden Dome, the space laser missile fighting Death Star, and it's only going to take $125 billion, which I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say is somewhat low. My guess is if you want to build a domed missile defense system, satellite driven, I'm sure Starlink driven, gotta throw money to ya boys. My guess is we're talking $1 trillion plus over a long period of time. But hey, what's money as long as poor people aren't allowed to have soda?
I'm also pleased to report that the one big beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have
Down payment?
probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed.
What happened to fraud, waste, and abuse? $175 billion for a golden dome? What happened to build the wall? The wall isn't even done yet. What happened to all the money that you gave to defense contractors and other contractors to get that done? So is that what we're going to do here? So let me explain to you all what's going to happen here. Donald Trump just signed contracts to guarantee that defense contractors and anybody involved with defense is going to get massive amounts of money now. Like, all the people that helped get him elected, this was for them. So this is what we're cutting billions of dollars out of Medicare for? This is what we're cutting Medicaid for Golden Dome? Not to fix homelessness, not to house veterans, none of that, but to make all of his friends richer and come up with something that probably won't work and won't get finished, just like the wall. Meanwhile, the left is dealing with clowns like this. When you're ready to stop this and start winning elections, y'all know where to find me.
So Trump announced his Golden Dome project, and how come it is whenever somebody on the left proposes anything that might actually help people, like giving free school lunch to kids or expanding Medicaid or giving universal health care, all of the media, the first thing they say is, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? And then Donald Trump can announce this Golden Dome fucking idea that the lowest price tag I've seen for it, the lowest estimate I've seen says it's going to cost $175 billion. The high estimates are close to $1 trillion. And that's not even just operating costs. That's just to get it built. And then it's going to cost billions of dollars a year to operate and maintain. When we've never had a missile fly at us, seems like a huge fucking waste of money. I thought the whole point of our gigantic nuclear arsenal was so that if anybody hit us with a bomb, we would just bomb the shit out of them so nobody bothers trying. This just seems like a stupid fucking way to give military contractors a shit ton of fucking money. And how come nobody ever asked him, how are you gonna fucking pay for this? Oh, I know how you're gonna pay for it, by taxing the fuck out of us.